if we started yet or not. So I'm started. We're live. Okay, here we are. There we go. Thanks, John. Thanks for getting me back on. Here we go. Nice to be with you guys again. I missed you. Been keeping pretty busy with lots of putting together and taking out and organizing and distressing, of course, for everything going on, the turbulent times we're living in. But of course, these are the times that we grow from the most. So that's why we do them. So I'd love to see the people that want to come in, chat with the host, like games. Let's see, guess let's do that. So down at the bottom of your right side, there's a box if you want to ask a question. Mondays usually ask a question. Because of the only one day of doing this, we'll ask questions and also have a little bit of thoughts about. Today's going to be about understanding your mind, or understanding the mind. That's what it's going to be about. So, yeah. I don't see anything yet. Oh, James, help that. Oh. John, I'm sorry. Oh, can you hear me, John? John can't hear me in the headset.
Yes, I hear you fine, James. Do you hear me?
No, I don't hear you.
Okay. We got you. You got to love this Mercury retrograde. I already got a lot of people coming in, sending you love.
Yeah. And do they have hearts on the side here like we do on Facebook or not? Oh, they're in the middle. Yeah. Elizabeth Wallen. Hi, Elizabeth. Thank you.
So you're going to discuss the mind tonight, huh?
Yes, I'm just shocked because, I do Facebook Live. I have all these people going on and saying hello. This is a little different, I guess. So you look at people that say hello when they first come on, they have to wait. Is that right?
Hello.
Okay. I have this book called The Self-Acceptance Project. And John, I don't know if you heard about this book. It was given to me about a year ago. And it's a very, very good book. Heals all different levels of consciousness, subconscious, and perspective taking. And I opened it up to states of mind, which I think is very, very important. The states of mind, remember, we are the soul, and part of the soul is the mind. And it depends very much what our mindset is that day, that moment. I always say the past is the past and the future is yet to be. So all we have is this moment right now. So what is your mindset in this moment right now, in present time? I think that we can tend to make better choices in our lives if we live in present moment, because you don't have it clouded by past experiences and past choices and bad choices and bad experiences. And in the future, it's almost like you might also influence that because your desire is so strong. So what is your centering right now? Where do you feel yourself? What is your state of mind? Also, when you're in a state of mind and you can feel a sense that you're in the center, right? You're in the center, because when you're in the center of your mind, you're in total control of your mind, of yourself. No one can throw you at all if you're in total control of your mind. So no one can make you do things you don't want to do. There is no hell or hell that you burn and roasted like toast. Doesn't exist, just in religious terms. Heaven, yes, there is a heaven, but it's like earth, but only better. A lot more colors than we have. You feel the colors, you feel the values. When people go to concert halls, they'll not only hear the music, but see the lovely colors and beautiful, I wanted the diagrams coming out of each note. The notes are different over there. They seem, people say, much fuller. So your state of mind matters very much here on this earth, because we are constantly thinking, creating. And as you think of this moment, you are creating, maybe subconsciously. But if we keep our state of mind to a pleasant place, an even keel on things, we'll be so much better off. Yes, we might still have anger left over. We might have bitterness, might need to forgive somebody. But we have to work out those issues, because let's just say forgiveness. It's a very, very important lesson to learn. And what forgiveness does, it is a medicine you give yourself, because it really frees up the energy within the body and around the body. So you'll receive more information, receive more things coming onto your path, because you've opened up that space. But when you block that way, those ways in the mind, around the mind, the surface, if you will, or the field of the mind, and block them with dirt or toxins. I call them dirt or toxins. And it could be other people's energy that you take on. It could be an unresolved situation in your house or your work. So these things build up if you don't take care of them. And the first thing to do taking care of them, of course, is recognizing them. Because as in every healing, the first step to healing is awareness. So we must be aware of what's going on within our mind and how it's affecting our body, because the mind does affect our body. The body will be the end result of everything you're thinking. So if you have an ailment of something or a disease of something, it's got to have some kind of a beginning in your mind, whatever that might be, whether it's a conscious mind or subconscious mind. Uh, and it's very, very interesting. Freud did studies on this. I think you'd find it fascinating how you could go from feeling um, very good, very, very happy, and then all of a sudden you have news and you fall sad again. And it's okay to do that every once in a while, 'cause we're human, we're going through sad experiences, but don't stay there. Don't stay there. Come back to being joyful, because the state of the soul is one of joy. Joyful soul. That is its state. Love is what it's made from, and its state is joy. The only thing that keeps us away from that is ourselves. I took a class by Thomas Cavanaugh. You heard about that, John, with Kelly White, right? The course we took with Thomas Cavanaugh.
Oh yes, when you were talking about the binaural beats.
Yes, the binaural beats.
Mhm.
Wonderful man who's a psychologist, and he's also a, podiatrist, a psychologist, and a
Hmm.
I don't say alchemist, but he's like I'm sorry, like a brain surgeon, something wild and crazy, and he teaches consciousness. So I was
Physicist.
like, okay, physicist. Thank you, John. It's physicist. That's right.
Okay, there we go.
Maybe not a podiatrist, a physicist. Something to pay. There. I know how to pee.
Yeah.
So, and it was a 5-day class, and I only stayed one day because I could not work out. It was over my head. It really was over my head. And Kelly had a hard time too because it was very much right, left brain, left brain. So, but one thing he did say, which I thought was fascinating, really fascinating, was he said, and I wrote this on my Facebook page, that fear is selfless and love is up for others. Fear is for self,
Hmm.
and love is for others. And I thought, "Now, that's an interesting way of looking at it, because because the only reason you have fear is for yourself. And love, you're really attracted to other people. You're out there for other people's sakes, if you will, not yours. You're not thinking of yourself. So you tend to find fearful people, truly fearful people, a bit how can I say, selfish in some ways. Some
Hmm.
ways. So it's an interesting insight, I thought, and we could all apply it to our lives in different ways.
Now,
Yeah.
people were asking the book you were talking about earlier. What book is that?
Oh yes, this book right here is called The Self Acceptance Project,
The
and
Self
it's
Acceptance
how to be
Project.
a kind and compassionate, toward yourself in any situation.
Wow,
And it's by Tammy Simon from Sounds True, and she's the owner of Sounds True.
great.
It's a really good book for everybody. One of her chapters is disempowering our inner critic. Hello, right? Also a hard time with that. John, perfect into our perfection. Perfect,
Hmm.
right? Transforming self-criticism into self-compassion.
Yes, we need a lot of that right now.
Ta taking in the good and letting out the bad. We need a lot
Hmm.
of that too.
Yes, we
So I don't
do.
watch much news. I just think positivity, positivity, and if I read an article, it has to be positive, because, again, with a field of the mind, you want to make sure that you feed the mind very positive food. Um, really, because that's what it works on, and it is good for the endorphins. It'll send endorphins. It's healthy for you. So,
Hmm.
little stories about health and happiness go a long way than fear. Fear tends to bring the immune system down, so it is good for us. And fear stands for FEAR, false ego appearing real. Right? You've heard that before. Yes.
I sure have.
So, any questions from anybody would like to ask me?
Well, let's see. We're going to get more questions coming in here in just one moment. Let's see here. So, you're getting a lot of questions, psychic readings. So, we're going to refer those to Friday,
Friday night, we're doing a psychic
next
reading night.
Friday.
That's
It's going to
right.
be next Friday. So, I'm going to put
It's
the
a
link
different than
there.
mediumship. It's very different. Very
Yes.
different.
So,
Yeah.
I'll put the link there for folks to check that out.
Okay.
And then I will relay some questions to you. They're going to appear on the screen at the bottom there for you, James.
Good.
So, let's see here. All right. So, your book Wisdom from the Spirit Guides arrived. I've been listening to you and Susan Geisman, hoping to learn and be able to connect to my loved ones and guides. It's such a beautiful thing. So that's a nice acknowledgement. All right.
Sure. So to do that, and in the book, it'll talk about connecting with your guides and your loved ones. The difference between a guide for me, because it's always different for everybody. So when you look for your guides, I don't want you to look so much as for energy, as the name. Names are really very human. Really, what we want to look for when you're connecting with your guides, and there are different types of guides. So, of course, your main guide or your gatekeeper, it's a different energy. So, feel what that particular energy is like. A healing guide, very different energy. Philosopher, different energy again. A joy
Mhm.
guide, usually a child guide. So, very different energies. And in the book, and I have a course on it also, I want the student to become very familiar with the energies of the different guides. Now, people In some ways, I feel people are easier to feel than guides because guides can be so easy sometimes. Oh, thanks, John. Guys can be so easy sometimes you feel like you're missing something, or is there something more? And sometimes it really isn't. It's just this gentle little awareness that they're around, they're in your space. And when you
Mm,
call, they will be there. You don't have to wait a long time either. So you should practice that. One night, ask for a healing guide. Another night, ask for a philosopher guide and write down a message from them to yourself. That'll help.
great. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
So Ashley is asking, what are some of the good techniques for tapping into your intuition and inner knowing when contemplating a big decision?
You know, it's very interesting, Ashley, because I've been asked this many, many times. And I throw this out to everybody because it really does work. And it's actually sitting in the stillness of your being. So by sitting in the
Mm,
stillness of your being, you're sitting in your soul and you're ready to hear your soul's voice. And I suggest people do this in a walk-in closet if that's available, or a place that you won't be interrupted with too many sounds, or of cars outside, or animals in the house, or people. So what you do is you sit in the center of that room, and that's what you got to do. And pay attention to your breath. The inhalation, 4 counts. No, three counts. Exhalation, and inhale through the nose, out the mouth. In three, out four. In three, out four. And just do that. And the same rhythm. And notice as you do that, eventually your mind will fall off the counting and you'll become aware of your body, how your body feels. And then you become aware of how the whole body feels and how the space around the envelope around us feels. So that's really interesting. It takes a lot of time to do it and patience. It
mm,
really does. But you have to be willing to want to put the time in order to do that. It isn't overnight, just an overnight type of thing. There's no spiritual bypass here. It really isn't. You really got to work it out. And I often tell my students that part of the joy of all of this, of mediumship and intuition work, is working the process. The process sometimes is much more valuable than the end results. You find out more in the process than the end results. And it's important also to have a good, strong foundation when you're working. Because if you don't have a good foundation, it'll be rocky the rest of the way.
yeah.
Mm.
All right. So Marilyn is asking, any advice on letting go of resentment?
Yes. 20, what is that last John? 28 days, is it?
28 days of total transformation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I'll
one.
put that link in there.
That's the
Yeah.
number one class we have for that, for resentment and forgiveness. Again,
Okay.
you don't want to hold on to that. It's not your stuff. Most time we find resentment is anger turned in, and it's usually not yours. It's somebody else's. So that's something you should work on because you're just holding on to that. Maybe you have to forgive that person. Maybe waiting for them to forgive you. But guess what? They might not be able to
Hmm.
because they may not be aware of that level yet that they need to forgive you. They might just think about themselves. They might be me, 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 me. It's the only way they see the world. So in many respects, and I'm looking out here with the people dressed as trees, which I think is hysterical. My God. And um, I think that it's really so diverse. Our world is so diverse, but yet everybody has a meaning. Everybody has reason for being. And we got to be open for everybody to express themselves the way they choose to, as long as they don't hurt people, as long
Mm,
as they don't hurt people or people's lives in danger.
right. All right. So this is another question in regards to intuition. How can I better trust my decision making? I overanalyze and lose what my gut may be telling me.
Right. So the first thing you want to do is when you hear something, close your eyes and go with your heart. Your response. Should I take this job or should I not? Don't think about it. Let it drop from your head to your heart. What does it feel like? Okay. Now you
Mm,
can't pay attention to statistics or I get so much money this year for that. That it sounds better on paper. It sounds better, but it'll be a horrible job perhaps. If you feel
mhm.
right about it, that is your guide. And if they conflict, go with your heart. Go with your gut, please.
Great. And Lisa's saying, I'd love to know more about auras and how to get more in tune with seeing them.
Ah, um, wow, boy, I wrote a book on that. I did write a book on that. It's a psychic book, actually.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Psychic
um,
Portals course would be a good one for her then,
Psychic
right?
Portals course.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some other books too. There are the Aura books. The one's called the Aura book. I just picked up the other day. I'm sorry, I don't know the author, but there are a lot of Aura books. And
Mm-hmm.
practice with color. So sometimes you can lay out maybe 6 different colors: purple and red, blue, yellow, green, orange. And you can close your eyes and touch, mix them up, and then touch one. And what does it feel like? And
Mm-hmm.
oh, I feel like an orange, but yet it's a green. So you're gonna have to tune yourself to what it feels like, the color. Another exercise after that is getting out different food colors, different food groups, and close your eyes and put a blindfold on, and perhaps take an orange. What does that feel like? What does that color or texture wise? You don't want to smell it because you'll be giving it away. And then maybe an apple or something red. Also, let you feel it physically. That red in that way too. So yeah, I do have that in my course. Yes, I do. You're right.
All right.
Goodness gracious.
Yes,
People.
we know the feed is a little scattered at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. Why don't I do another one sometime this week? I'll be glad to.
Oh yeah, we'll do that because we're definitely being hit with Mercury retrograde in your
We are.
Wi-Fi
I feel it.
connection.
Yes.
But we'll
We'll
make the
check it out
best
next
of it.
time too. Joe will test it.
Yeah.
Thank you,
So,
everybody. Come on, maybe Thursday.
all right. Sounds great, James.
Okay. Thanks,
Thank
John.
you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.